Ever wonder how I think about mysteries? Well, I'll give you a little taste today. Welcome back to WizardPhD. I'm Professor Lynette, and I don't know how to start this video because people have asked me for Vlogtober to talk through a little bit of how I come up with theories, and I'm planning on doing a more in-depth video on that. But for today, I thought we'd talk about a little bit of the clues and mystery type vibes we got in week 1 of this brilliant event in Malfoy Manor. Let's back up a bit. So I am obsessed with mysteries in this game, and I feel like this game was literally made for me. That's very, very arrogant to say, but when I was younger, so back in the 90s, one of my favorite movies was Harriet the Spy. And Harriet the Spy is a book. I don't think I ever read the book, but the movie featured Rosie O'Donnell and Michelle Trachtenberg, and basically there's this girl, Harriet, and she deals with like bullies in school, and basically part of her expressing herself and like getting through that is she's a spy. So she kind of like has her own like tool belt with like a magnifying glass and binoculars, and she has her notebook and she keeps track of it. So when I was younger, I used to play Harriet the Spy by myself. I wouldn't have binoculars, but I would have like our little toys, my notebook, and I would just like keep track of things that I noticed looking out of our playroom window, which, I mean, living in a neighborhood that's just a neighborhood, a boring neighborhood, there was like a car passing by, a person like walking down the street, wasn't super interesting. So mysteries, that sort of vibe has always been intriguing to me, and then on top of it, we have this Harry Potter world, the wizarding world, the whole universe that is full of mysterious things that happen and things that we don't understand, which is also kind of like the academic and inquiry aspect of my personality. I love learning about things, I love thinking about things, and that's why I guess I am a professor. I don't know. I still don't know. That's a topic for another day. I'm gonna open my Harry Potter Wizards Unite box that was gifted to me by WB Games. Thank you so much for cool swag. Does this turn on? It does light up. Ha! Some post-it notes, a pen, my SOS task force sticker, some whiteboard markers because this is also where I keep track of things sometimes. A decapitated Dementor that I was supposed to fix. Whoops. My many notebooks. It's funny, I'm Ravenclaw-ish, but like not the stereotypical type of Ravenclaw. I am organized, but I'm not like a rigid, methodical person. I am a sporadic, like, let's go where the wind takes me, and like I'll keep track. This is why I get distracted a lot. If you ever watch my vlogs or if you interact with me in real life, I am always on tangents, always just kind of all over the place, and it's kind of amazing that I'm able to like put whatever is in this brain hole into something that is coherent. And sometimes I actually post theory videos and I'm like, literally, I don't even know if this makes sense. I don't even know if there's any sort of logical flow or structure. So yeah, I'm just like a sporadic human that, I don't know. That's the secret. So today, what we're gonna look at is some of the dialogue from the brilliant event, and I'm gonna walk through some of what I picked up on, what I shared on Twitter and what other people were sharing with me, and how I go about my general process of exploring sort of clues in Wizards Unite. So if you saw my last video where I was walking through my completion of the brilliant event, I basically read through the dialogue of Constance. And the dialogue is my favorite part of, I mean, it's not my favorite part, it's one of my favorite parts of the brilliant event. Obviously, the quests are also a big favorite part for me. And what I do is I take screenshots. My phone is full of Wizards Unite. I have a bunch of things on my phone. Ryan tweeted at me yesterday, or whenever day this was, the 9th, and was like, what's up with this mask? We've got a mystery on our hands. So when you place the Death Eater mask, Constance pops up and is like, Death Eaters wore these masks to hide their identities, and each one was unique. Yet this specific mask keeps turning up. Why? Why this mask? Now, this is really interesting to me because so I was kind of making a stretch when I was talking about previous brilliant events and being connected to the storyline. So stuff where like Harry is just paranoid and talking about like memory and whatever. And it wasn't super explicit, but I feel like the more that we have events and the more that we have events with dialogue and our recurring characters, they are also trying to figure stuff out alongside us and seem to be more direct and explicit about like, hey, this might be a clue sort of thing. Because, I mean, Constance is like, why? Why this mask? And she's basically inviting us to answer this question. Why this mask? Why is it turning up over and over? No two Death Eaters wore the same mask. This is from the page that has this fragment on it. Death Eater mask. You can see my previous searches, Death Eater masks and their owners. And so this is kind of like usually where I start, where I like Google something and then we'll go down different kinds of explorations, choose your own adventure rabbit holes, and then we will refine or focus or take notes. That's kind of the plan. You have this display and these are replicas of Death Eater masks, so you can see all of them. I don't know, I also love like finding stuff like this because you have people that are part of the fandom that are also thinking about or questioning similar things. Much of the dialogue, including Death Eaters in the mystery, had the characters refer to each other while wearing their masks. Obviously, if their masks were uniform, there would be little to no way to distinguish who was who while wearing the mask. So like, why is it that each mask is unique? Well, we're like masking our entire faces, but we want to be able to identify each other. It's interesting. It's very interesting because last night at dinner I was asking Jeff, I was like, oh, I wonder then, so this is like tangent central. I wonder then if anyone has impersonated a Death Eater because like your entire face is covered by the mask, or if there's some sort of magic that they put on the mask so that if someone who is not the owner of the mask tries to put it on, if something bad happens to them. You know, there's all sorts of things that you can wonder about given the context of the wizarding world, given the context of like, we know that people do bad things, there are witches and wizards that do bad things, do dark arts. What is it that might be possible? And then we have, do we know what mask belongs to what Death Eater? And so here is where we have some people, you know, it's just like the crowdsourcing, and this is kind of what I love about the game, is that I don't personally know everything, and I've said this before, I don't know everything. And what's also great is that we all don't have the same resources, I guess, in terms of, I have all the Harry Potter books, I have access to Pottermore, but for other things, like I have to go go out and buy something, or I have to go seek out someone who has something that I don't have. So it's just like information is spread all around us, and what stands out to me might not stand out to other people, and vice versa. Some people might pick up on things and I don't even notice it. So collectively, this is like where the Wizards Unite theme comes in with trying to figure out mysteries, is that we're stronger together, we're able to work together, put information together, and figure things out. Yeah, so from this picture, it looks like, okay, this one is the one that looks most like the mask to me. What I do is I like look for things that are official. So things that are, you know, the Noble Collection has like the replicas. This is what Lucius's mask looks like, not the one in the picture. This is what Bellatrix's mask looks like, not in the picture, so we can rule those people out. One thing that I found was, oh, and this is also a side issue, because Pottermore is transferred in Wizarding World, you might find some links in your Google search that are Pottermore that are actually broken because they haven't merged or transferred the Pottermore, all of Pottermore onto Wizarding World, so you might have a page not found error. I've gotten that several times and it's very frustrating for me right now, someone trying to do research, so just be warned, some Pottermore links that you find in Google search may be broken. So we have like the design and like people talking about how the designs came about, and so this idea of like matching or doing very unique things, and how, I don't know, just really cool like behind the scenes production type work. Scrolling through, you see some images, and this one looks like the mask that I was talking about, right? So it has like those swirls and it has like the kind of mouth thing right there, and the design looks very similar. So what I did was I saved this photo to my phone, and then I zoomed in, and I was looking specifically at the wand. The wand in this photo looks like it has a skull head, and so I was thinking, well, maybe that's a clue to who this Death Eater is. And so I searched again, Noble Collection, we have the Death Eater wand skull. It's just generic, it doesn't say a name, it just says Death Eater wand. And this is for sure the wand, the skull, the way that it's shaped, it matches. It matches this photo. And so that's what I shared, you know, the picture, the wand, and then the excerpt. Okay, this is what I found. Then Mary responded to me and was like, okay, Mary has a wand book, which is super cool. I don't have the wand book. Going back to, we have different resources at our hands. An index by wand, and we have Electo Caro is this owner. Served as deputy headmistress of Hogwarts under Headmaster Severus Snape in the Deathly Hallows, which at this point I would also go to my library and grab the Harry Potter book 7, but I didn't bring it out with me, whoops. I do have other books on the table here, but this is kind of like I'm just explaining my process. Very cool. Seems like case closed, right? Okay, well then, we also had Wizard Way Chris responding. It's the mask for Rabastin Lestrange, Rodolfo's brother, brother-in-law to Bellatrix. His mask is included in a bunch of collections. His love affair with Avella Garco was a bit of a scandal. The Garcos gave intel to the Order, and Avella fought against Voldemort in the Battle of Hogwarts. So, all right, so we have Rabastin Lestrange, which I'm totally cool with. Like, I would love to know more about the Lestrange family. Let's go back to Google. Rabastin Lestrange. So this is kind of like the process. So now going down, let's learn everything that we can about him. Fought in the First Wizarding War. After Lord Voldemort's final defeat, Rabastin was presumably killed or imprisoned in Azkaban once more. So it's not confirmed, like we don't have a confirmation, but that's kind of like, where are the openings? That's kind of another strategy is, when you have information, are things like completely solid and closed, or are there possibilities for like new stories or storylines to develop? We also have Constance talking about the prisoner number that we also placed during the event. And it seems to be tied to the same escapee we keep running across. Why is the Calamity focused on this one inmate? Interesting. Also interesting, it's the same inmate who is in this "Have you seen this wizard?" Do not approach poster, the wanted poster. This is the same guy as our escapee in the game. So we have another recurring character, which of course I was being silly earlier and was like, oh my gosh, what if this is Tony? What if this is also Tony? It probably isn't Tony. But it's another recurring character, another new character or old character, a character that we don't know about just yet. So here we go, Constance saying Voldemort's name again, and I don't know. So I think that stood out to me very instantly because of the whole, well, we're rereading book 1, for the Magical Theory podcast. And it's all about you-know-who and he who must not be named. And that was part of our earlier episode where we were questioning, like, does anyone just straight up, like, is a rebel and is like, no, I'm gonna say Voldemort's name, I don't care. And so this idea of like, okay, it makes sense after, actually on my whiteboard, in one of the trailers for the game, it starts off with the person who's speaking and there's like all the Daily Prophet headlines that are going, and they say Voldemort defeated. So it's obvious that like, okay, Voldemort as a name that is spoken after the Battle of Hogwarts seems to make the most sense because you think that he's defeated, or I keep saying you think because I'm just like, I'm holding out for it's a possibility that Voldemort has not been defeated, and now this is just another cycle of like, I'm back, and it's okay. Like, don't worry. If you don't like that idea or that train of thought, it's cool. But it's a possibility. It's something that's in my mind, that's in my notes right now. But it makes sense. You say Voldemort's name. The problem I have with that, though, is that we have from the website, when I covered, and I remembered, when I covered the launch of the website, the framing for this game said, the traces of magic are appearing without warning. We call on all witches and wizards to help contain the calamity or risk the worst of times since you know who. So you are already in framing this game, starting off with this like scared, fearful base, like you know who naming. You're not saying Voldemort, you're saying you know who. And so it could be an intentional like marketing type move. Well, both for the game creators, but also like in the context of this game, like the ministry wants to convey that this is serious and that this is scary. And so I'm gonna say you know who and not Voldemort. But also, we have this ministry memo addressed to Harry Potter. Be careful with that Paget woman, Potter. Her parents were followers of you-know-who, and you know the apple rarely falls far from the tree. She's trouble, mark my words. So we have some evidence that characters are using you-know-who as a way to refer to Voldemort. I haven't gone through to see the mentions of Voldemort or you-know-who or he who must not be named to tell, like, is it something that's like a generational thing? So like older witches and wizards still refer to him as you-know-who? Or is it something that's like in reference to a specific time period? So if you're talking about the time period where it was like all terror and chaos that you use the term you-know-who, is it that younger generations don't care or because they didn't live through the war, they were kind of like, okay, I don't get why people were so scared to say Voldemort. You know, there's lots of like complexity to it of like why someone might say Voldemort or not. I will do a Google image search to also help me look for things. So basically all that I do is like take stuff that I see in the game and then link to external things that I can explore. And sometimes that takes me to physical text type activities, and sometimes it takes me to digital explorations. Oh, we never looked at Electo Caro, did we? The Caro family. So sometimes what I'll do is if I see something like this and it's like, it's a name that is common, then I will instead look at Caro family, Harry Potter. I just realized that you can't search on Wizarding World, so Pottermore, you're cramping my style. Who are the Sacred 28? Pottermore, okay, this page is still up. But we do have the Caro family is on here. Amicus and Electo Caro were brother and sister Death Eater double act, recruited to instill some discipline at Hogwarts. So okay, here, let's go back. Is this escapee the same as, so we know it's linked to the prisoner number, okay. According to Constance, he was inconsequential. We have Brilliant Death Eater. I'm guessing the mask matches. Or wait, does it match? It does not match. So the Death Eater seems to be a different person than whoever has this mask. Who do you think these people are? So this is kind of like where the theory stuff would begin. The initial stuff was the exploration of what do we know from the Wizarding World or what can we investigate? And then once we have that information, I compile it usually in Google Docs, actually. So this theory is, this video is on the channel. You can check it out if you haven't already. Where do the foundable memories come from? And so I'll do some sort of organizing where I outline the basic structure of the argument, and then I will insert, okay, this is the corresponding evidence that I need to reference. What are some options? And so this is just an evolving document. I'll insert excerpts and be sure to like, okay, this is like legitimate stuff written by J.K. Rowling, making sure that that's kind of part of it. And then if there's stuff that doesn't fit, so that there's like a lot of stuff at the bottom, then I'll like make a new page or make a new document and then put, okay, this is something else to investigate or to hold for later. So basically, yeah, that's kind of like how I organize my theory videos. We are not at the theory stage just yet, but it is kind of where I would go next if I found something that was like, let's follow this thread. I don't even know if this video was interesting, but that's kind of like how I process information. And again, it's really interesting to be able to talk to people. And actually, Mary Casey talked about this in one of the panels. I think it might have been the San Francisco one that we went to, where she remembers like in reading the books, discussing it with her friends and like trying to talk through what was happening and what they thought about certain mysteries. And that's kind of the vision also for this game as well. So yes, we have the game dynamic and the mechanics, and but if you're interested in playing with other people or exploring ideas with other people, that is kind of what they're setting us up to do as well. So definitely use social media, definitely use your local groups, you know, just ask people, like in my video yesterday, so what do you think about Constance? Like, what's up with her? And just see where those conversations lead you. I don't know, this is kind of like one of my favorite parts about the game, and I get to use like the things that I find interesting and, you know, like investigating and exploring, and my goofiness, like where I say crazy things like Constance is Voldemort in disguise, like that's all fine. Like, it's not about being right or having like the best theory. It's about like trying to explore and have fun with your friends. All right, let me know in the comments down below, who do you think that Death Eater mask belongs to? What do you think about this escapee? How is this connected to the larger storyline? Are they connected to Grim Folly or Tony or Penelope or anyone else that we're, you know, wondering about in this game? Maybe Gareth Greengrass? Draco Malfoy? Let me know in the comments down below, and until next time, wand's ready.